A very warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here in our room, and also good morning and good afternoon to our virtual audience from wherever you are watching us. It's a pleasure for us. We are delighted to welcome you here to our media roundtable. And first of all, a very important information for you. Of course, we will have enough time to go through your questions afterwards, after the presentations. But before that, we would like to give you an overview of the critical global trends in robotics, and also we want to present some news that are shown here at ABB at Automatica in Munich. And to do that, we will be joined here live on stage by three of our ABB colleagues who will give you the key points in just a few minutes. Well, and to start with, we have ABB's Managing Director, Andrea Cassoni, and he's here to discuss the transformative innovation for general industry. And to present ABB's latest innovations in cobots, we welcome Global Product Manager, Andie Zhang. But to start with, I would like to introduce you to the new president of ABB Robotics. Well, some of you maybe know him already because of his outstanding and long career in the robotics industry, particularly his expertise in automotive. He has been with ABB already since 1998, fostering a track record of execution and innovation. He has led the company's expansion of robotics into brand new segments such as logistics, healthcare, retail, and also food and beverages. And he was appointed president just recently in January this year of the robotics industry. Well, and now, ladies and gentlemen, please give him a big round of applause. This is Marc Segura. Welcome, Marc.
Hello, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to be here with the people in the room as well as online. Yes, I joined 24 years ago, and robotics has changed quite a lot. We have all witnessed incredible developments, technology developments, robotics developing into new segments. But the news here is that robotics is still in its infancy. We truly believe that the decade in front of us will be transformative. Will be transformative because, like in history, robotic rides on any technological development. It rides on any exponential. Today, if mobile phones are developing chip cameras, we can put chip cameras in robots. If car manufacturers are developing batteries, we can make mobile robots. If cloud computing is developed, we can connect our robots to the cloud. So we don't see that because that's exponential. We are designed to follow linear, but this tremendous growth is in front of us. This morning, IFR already shared the numbers of last year, 2021, with a very significant growth, again, of the robotics market, which ABB was, of course, part of that. If you look at our Q1 order intake growth, you would see that we are really facing significant expansion. So the theme of ABB Robotics in Automatica this year is one about acceleration and conversions. Accelerations of robotics as an industry in terms of the segments we support to develop, in terms of the applications, in terms of the technology, but conversions and more convergence about digital technologies and industrial and mechatronics technologies to create new value. This is what you will be able to see in the stand and what we're going to talk about here in a second. So just to illustrate a little bit that, let me start with an example in a retailer, okay? Just let's play the video and then I'll comment on that. So what was that? It was a robot 3D printing household design on-demand objects with recycled plastic from the oceans, where we partnered, and this is in London at one of the most prestigious retailers, Selfridges, showcasing what robotics can do, for example, in circular economy and retail innovation. We would not have seen this just 5-6 years ago. And this is not just a for fun pilot. This is really serious about for retailers, for example, how do they transform their business model into really becoming an experience place for customers, as well as for the NGO to really show a canal to show that really circular economy is possible. This is really an extreme example to provocate and illustrate that robotics is really changing. Some industries will remain the backbone of this industry, like automotive, like electronics, but the expansion into logistics, healthcare, restaurants is unstoppable and is here to grow. All right, so ABB is a technology company. ABB Robotics, we started in the 70s. We were grown up in automotive. We're already at the beginning of this century. We had inventions for food and beverage, like the Plicker robots. We were then pioneering in electronics, and we have not stopped innovating. Since last Automatica, we have launched to the market more than 60 innovations. They go from new robot models, our cobot line with Gofa and Swifty that Andie will talk about later, from the new lineup of controllers, the OmniCore controllers, which are using the latest digital technology that are using regenerative drives to save 20% energy. Applications like Pixel Paint that are printing cars, and if you have seen in our latest release, they can really print like an inkjet art on a car and saving paint and energy. More robot models like the 390, digital tools like Robot Studio, augmented reality that you also can experience in the booth, and new things that we will be presenting today, like our sales of Omnivans. We have not done this also through organic development. We have been investing, like in Asti, our great mobile robotics company. After that, we also have invested in a startup in Switzerland called 7sense for advanced 3D navigations with artificial intelligence, because we believe that ABB Robotics has to be at the forefront of innovation. We want to really be seen as the avant-garde, bringing robotics into the existing industries to the next level, but also helping new segments that may go from a small welding shop in a rural area to medium-sized companies to, again, new segments like healthcare to develop and enjoy the benefits that robotics brings. So what are the pillars of our offering and what is our differentiation? I always say that our robots are our backbone. They define us, and you're going to see our manipulators there. But we've always been, since the beginning, striving to be something more for our customer. That's why we have this layer of domain expertise where we can be providing integrated cells, integrated function packages, or complete systems where we really learn with hands-on work the reality of our customers, which the reality of our customers is manufacturing, is not just an individual robot. And so these added values, of course, feeding back into the product development cycle so we can really develop the robots that are needed. But also, we've been traditionally in the software business. Yesterday, our great colleague Bertil Thorvaldsen was awarded with the most prestigious award in the robotics industry for his trajectory in developing our well-known Robot Studio software. So Robot Studio software is a great design engineering tool to design robots digitally. But we have, and you will see in the booth, lots of developments to really develop Robot Studio into the metaverse. So you really go from designing offline and having that, and bringing digital world into the real shop floor as we go forward. And we are a customer and very diversified oriented company. You see here the percentages of the segments, and in fact, we are organized by customer segments, so our priority is automotive is a third, but then general industry is already 23%, electronics growing 7%, consumer segments 10%, and the machine part that we address with our sister division, B&R, it's already 30% of the business area. So 3 pillars: product, software, our domain expertise, the largest service network, and customer orientation at the forefront. And why is this so important to be customer-oriented and technology-oriented? Because the world is changing so fast in front of us, again, that it's difficult to grasp and capture. What are the mega trends? Individualized consumer, sustainability, labor shortage, and uncertainty. Let's pick them one by one, see what they mean for us here. Individualized consumers started with internet. Instead of having to go to a shop, you could browse and really literally find what you want. So what that means for companies, that competition suddenly increases. Anyone can compete with you, and the consumer rules. And that has had massive implications for manufacturing, because basically a company has to be set to respond much faster to a very demanding customer. If I don't like this product, you better change your production, evolve your product line, otherwise I'll shop somewhere else. And I'll shop now in e-commerce. So also now the channel to the market is another dilemma, because do I need to be set up for 30% e-commerce, 70% retail? That is changing every day. I talked to a company, large CPG company in US, that used to sell 100% of diapers through one channel, which was Walmart, okay? And that was a very predictable demand. And hence their automation was 4, 5, 10 lines of high speed. You just turn them on. But now, 40% of their volume goes through e-commerce, and demand is fluctuating like that. So that architecture of automation doesn't work, because we need to be more flexible to also cope with uncertainty and labor shortage. Uncertainty about what? Geopolitical uncertainty, geopolitical trade conflicts, changing consumer behaviors, different demandings on regulation. You don't know what you're going to produce next year. So now when we talk about customers, what to install, what to invest on, resilience, which means flexibility towards uncertainty, is becoming more important even than sometimes performance. People is saying, okay, if I would have this system running at 100, but you have another one at 90, but it's more flexible, I can scale it up, scale it down, repurpose, that's more interesting for me. Because honestly, I don't know where I'm going to be in 2 years. So uncertainty is very important. All this is driving to some values that we're looking. Because also sustainability is a very important theme. You've heard me talking about the pixel paint, where we're saving paint while we paint. You've heard me talking about the OmniCore controller, where we're going to save 20% of energy consumption because the robots will regenerate energy while they break. But it's not only about the process, it's the products that we're helping to create. For example, in sustainability, beyond recycling plastic from the oceans, for example, we are supporting great companies to move away from single-use plastic. So where companies like Kiffel or Zume are developing technology to use agricultural waste to do compostable packaging. So instead of having a plastic lid or a plastic plate, you have someone that will degrade over time. So we are really seeing sustainability driven by consumers, policymakers, and that is very important. So on the traditional values that robotics and automation has always brought of productivity and quality, they stay. So we have accurate robots. We have robots that have the most highest uptime and quality. But flexibility and simplicity based on AI, more vision, more perception that drives robots to be more intelligent and autonomous and simple. You don't need people to do that task. More mobility, more data analytics. All this is turning, let's say, rigid factories into this. Take a look at this video. This layout could be, let's say, a standard workshop of a middle-sized company. And in the past, it would have looked like this maybe for 4 years in a row, because you have a contract with an OEM, you would be producing, you would be enhancing. Reality right now is very different. Reality right now is that to be resilient and flexible to the changing world, you need to be integrating the full value chain, from inbound logistics to production to outbound logistics. And that has to happen to start with digitally, because if you're not digitally enabled, you're blind to that. And then with this visibility of your stock, of your inventory, you can then have a flexible shop floor. Instead of having very large rigid lines, a number of islands, process unit, individual process cells connected by AMRs, and the AMRs are giving you the flexibility. You would route the product, okay, with their DNA to the right station in the right time, so you can always maximize your production. You're not going to moving things physically around. This is a representation to explain you that with this digital connection and this flexible architecture of robot cells and AMRs, you can really adapt. That's the next level of flexible automation we talk about that our customers really want to see. Digitally connected, so be in real time adapting the production and the logistics to ever-changing and fast-changing demand. So this is our vision for the next level of flexible factory. So with that, I think we have some concrete topics to support this today. And Andrea will talk us about Omnivance application cell, Andie about collaborative automation, and of course the digital offering. So Andrea, all yours.
All right. All right, so thank you, Mark. Hello, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being here. So Mark just outlined it. The technologies are getting more and more blended, and that's what the market wants. Market continuously asks us for a convergence of technologies, robots, AI, sensoring, vision, but it's also asking for something else. It's asking for flexibility, the same market, and flexibility. And when I say market, I mean all the markets. The traditional one, automotive, consumer electronics, but also the new one and the one with whom I deal every day, which we call general industry, which are actually tens of industrial sectors, more and more getting robotized. So to cope with those two requests, three actually, technologies blended, flexibility, and the simplicity. I was missing the last one, sorry. Since years, we're actually doing solutions, flexible, standardized solutions, but now we're bringing it to a next level. Actually, we are launching here in Automatica Omnivance, which is a new brand which unifies all our standardized application cells into one family name. Let's check it out.
ABB application cell offering unified as a family under one powerful new brand name. A new name simplifies communication, helps to navigate our portfolio, and illustrates to customers how products are positioned together into one application cell. The Omnivance brand name is used to describe unification. Omni, the Latin prefix meaning all, everything. The second part of the name comes from advance, implying forward progress. Omnivance brings clarity to our application cell offering by unifying sets of ready cell products together under one brand. Application cells already combine robot, controller, software, peripherals, grippers, and other key components into fully integrated units, ready to deploy in production. Building a solution using proven pre-engineered application cells from the Omnivance family means repeatable ease of deployment, lower costs, and global compatibility and support. A customized customer solution often means higher support costs and longer response times. Choosing application cells from Omnivance can solve this problem. ABB standard products share common spare parts and common user interface globally, so a modular cell can be replaced in the product line with minimal disruption. Omnivance brings clarity, unity, and purpose to ABB product families. Omnivance, one word, many application cells.
All right, so what Omnivance means actually essentially means ready to deploy cells, which also means minimize risk for a customer, because for us those are products and we do it over and over. They are pre-engineered, pre-test. They contain all what's needed for a perfectly working robotized solutions. It also means that they are easy to reconfigure, not only because they are standard and modular, but also because of the software typically that we put on them for simplicity and reconfiguration. I can give an example in a second. And obviously they are application specific. Now we're launching on Automatica here 3 Omnivance cells. Let me start with the first one. This is actually available. You can see, you're all welcome to come and touch it in the booth. We call it Omnivance Flex Loader M with an IMR. Here we see an EBO 350 IMR bringing metal parts to our Omnivance cell. The parts will be detected through vision artificial intelligence, picked by the robot for the next step of the process, in this case, a machine tool tending. So this is flexibility at its best. Obviously, and you'll see if you come to the booth, this cell is very modular. You can add more if you need to produce more. You can turn off some if you don't need them. They are all connected through IMR, and you can even move them in front of different machines as needed to maximize flexibility. But we also took lots of attention to the digital part and the user interface. So to program a new part, you don't need a specialized robotics expert, but through a very simple interface, you can actually program a new part which will be detected, visionized, and picked by the robot for the next phase. Another cell that we are showing, only in video though, is what we call FlexArc Compact, the Omnivan cell. It's the results of years actually of deployment and competencies in arc welding. The cell is to arc weld product, obviously. We put all our expertise and engineering capabilities in reducing the previous generation of FlexArc cells into this new one. The footprint is reduced by 20+%. It's extremely flexible. You can add up to 4 robots without the need of completely change the cell. And of course, you can add a robot to feed the cell, have material handling. All this is digitally born. So RoboStudio digital twins are available. You can do programming, simulation, validation with RoboStudio. But it's also born naturally in sync with our AMR product family. The last one that I will show is for machining. So there's a small delay. Here we go. Should come. All right, cells are actually faster than the PowerPoint. So this is an extremely compact cell for machining. So let's say in general control or removal of material. We actually manage up to 8 applications, different applications in the same cell. And we loaded with our expertise in ease of use and programming. It has an auto-calibration feature, which allowed, in case of change of tool or product, to do the auto-calibration, which is an operation that normally takes some 3-4 hours, only in 10 minutes. And then we have a simplified interface for easy programming, so for path generation and path optimization. So again, the setup time is estimated to be reduced by almost 90%. So compared to a bespoke and new cell for machining, this one, because it's standard and because of the software we put on it, it will take actually literally hours and not the, I would say, average standard of the industry of 5 days. So I will also now point out another area which is for us extremely important, looking at the future of automation, which is AI and digital tool to actually optimize and unlock the full power of automation. And we have a dedicated area in the stand, and we look at it as an entire suite of software to support automation in all the phases of the life cycle of a line of a robot. So from the initial phase, we can call it plan design. So when you plan a line, you plan a cell, you validate the process, you use digital twin to understand how the line will operate, to the phase of build and implement. So when actually the robot is running, to the entire life when we continuously optimize and maintain the robot or the cell. And we have different software solutions for the 3 phases. RoboStudio, the standard, I would say the gold standard in the industry for offline programming, simulation, digital twin creation, will actually go across the 3 phases. RoboWare is the heart of our controller, so that's how we run our robot with a number of different suites for different applications and customizable. And the ABB Ability Connected Services for monitoring, remotely monitoring, troubleshooting, and optimize the functioning of the cell of the robot during its entire life cycles. As I mentioned, RoboStudio, Marc already said it, but we are very proud that our longtime colleagues, Bertil Thorvaldsson, won the prestigious Engelberg Robotics Award. So he is the father of RoboStudio, which is still the gold standard in the industry. And let's play a little tribute.
Already when I was born, my grandmother expected me to become an engineer. There was this famous engineering school named Chalmers University of Technology in the city where we lived. And she had high hopes that I would attend it. And it so happened that when it was time for college, Intel released the first microprocessor, and I was blown away with it and wanted to learn everything about computers. So my grandma's vision became reality. I started out in the robot industry in 1976 when I joined the small team at ASEA in Sweden, now ABB, that developed the world's first all-electric microprocessor controlled robot, the IRB6. The things we were working on in the 1980s, that we today would call IoT, digital twin, and AI, are yet still just on the verge to become pervasive. We named the product RoboStudio, a trademark that has since earned respect among customers as well as competitors. Already when we first started to develop RoboStudio, we intended it to run in virtual reality. The technology was available, but was too expensive to be commercially viable. So RoboStudio was confined to flat displays for a long time until it could finally be released in 2016, when inexpensive consumer devices became available. I am proud of what we have accomplished this far, and I am really looking forward to the journey ahead.
All right, great, we're all very proud. So with this, I hand over to Andie, that will guide us through our expanded cobot family and application. Please come see us at the stand also. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. As Marc mentioned earlier, last year we launched the GOFA and Swifty cobot families. Together with Yumi, we have 3 cobot families, which brings us the most diverse collaborative robot family on the market. These cobots not only handle different payloads, but they can handle a wide variety of applications, from machine tending, component assembly, welding, polishing, packaging, you name it. And also, they're suitable for working in different types of collaborative scenarios. So from close collaboration, that means the cobot is right next to a human operator, to what we call intermittent collaboration, where the cobot can work at maximum productivity and speed when human operators are not in its workspace. And on top of this technology and safety, we made our cobots easier to set up, to program, and to use than ever, so that we open new usage opportunities for new types of customers and users, such as small and medium-sized companies and first-time robot users. So let me show you some of the highlights of what we have on demo here at Automatica. So the first application I want to show you is GOFA force control. So this is a big new release for GOFA this year, because this is purely a software function. Now, for traditional industrial robots, in order to realize force control, you have to buy an additional force torque sensor plus software. But because GOFA has torque sensors integrated in each one of its 6 joints, and these are used to ensure its very smooth lead-through function and also its superior safety. But now with the new force control software, we also enable GOFA to perform precision force control applications, such as this one that is shown here. So what is GOFA doing? It is picking up a key, and it is inserting it into the lock hole without knowing the precise location of the keyhole, using force detection. And when it inserts a key, it tries to turn the key, and it will detect the force. If it manages to turn, then this is a good key. If it doesn't manage to turn, and then it realizes, okay, this is a defect part, and it puts it in the defect pile. So there are lots of opportunities for force control applications for GOFA. For example, polishing. While GOFA is applying a force to a curved surface, polishing wood, metal, plastic parts, etc., and a lot in component assembly. And this is a great example of how we are using software more and more to bring more capabilities to our cobots and robots. The next application is GOFA arc welding. So there is a huge lack of qualified welders around the world. We also showed GOFA arc welding in Automate, which is an exhibition in the US last week. And just in the US alone, there's more than 400,000 vacancies for qualified welders. So with GOFA arc, we are building a very compact arc welding cell, and that is focusing on easy to use. So we provide an easy to use graphical user interface for arcware, combined with our graphical user easy programming method called Wizard Easy Programming. The ambition is that a user, or who is neither a technician, for example, in a company, who is neither a professional welder nor a professional robot programmer, should be able to create a welding program within minutes. So ease of use is the most important part here. Then, of course, is also the compactness of the cell and the flexibility. So from ABB, as shown earlier, we can offer from a very compact and simple GOFA arc weld cell to a complete turnkey solution. So the next application is GOFA Wizard Easy Programming. So ease of use is one of the most important features for collaborative robots, because that is really what enables new industries, new companies, the non-automotive users, general industry, food and beverage, retail, etc., to benefit from collaborative robot automation. So at Automatica, we welcome visitors to come to our booth to try themselves for how easy it is to create a program on GOFA with Wizard. So you can see, first you can experience our very smooth lead-through. So you can very easily move the robot arm by yourself. And we have 2 buttons on the robot that we call the arm side interface. And by moving the robot to a position of your desire, pressing a button, you're inserting a move command into Wizard Easy Programming, which is what is shown on the screen, so these blocks. So very quickly, you move the robot, you press a button, you add your positions, and you have created your first robot program. And of course, Wizard also supports more advanced functionality, such as picking up parts, such as logic, such as loops, such as signals, etc. And we also offer what we call a skill creator, which enables people to create their own Wizard blocks. So let's say your application is lab testing. So you can create your own Wizard block that's called open test tube or take a sample or something. And then the operator can easily use these blocks to create their Wizard program. So we welcome everybody to come and try this at our booth. Now last, I'm going to also talk about a Swifty application. So as mentioned, Swifty is another member of another family of our cobot family. Here at Automatica, we're showing Swifty is assembling a clock together with a larger industrial robot. So what is the difference between Swifty and GOFA? GOFA and Yumi are built for close collaboration. GOFA has torque sensors inside, which ensure safe collision, so you can work very closely with the robot. But the benefit of Swifty is that it can work at much faster speed. In fact, the same high speed as industrial robots, which is 5 times faster than the typical cobot on the market. And also, it can work at very high precision, 10 microns, in fact. So the concept of Swifty is that it is suitable for customers who are used to the high performance, high speed, high precision of industrial robots, and they need very high productivity and short cycle time. So Swifty is suitable for applications where a human is not always standing near the robot, because then Swifty can work at maximum speed. And when a person gets close, Swifty will slow down and stop in order to avoid any hazardous collisions. So what we're also showing here, actually in each one of our cobot cells, is our new cobot ecosystem. This is an ecosystem of third-party companies, our partners, who are developing plug-and-play accessories, components to be used with our cobots. They include grippers. Here you see Schmalz. Previously there was a Schunk. Schmalz, Schunk on robot, etc., are all part of our ecosystem network. And we also have part feeders, such as Acebril, which is shown here as well, tables, etc. All of these are designed to be plug and play with our cobots, with the hardware and the software, plus they're featured on our web shop so that our users can easily go select a suitable accessory for their cobot application. And this way, it enables our customers and users to get started faster. So with that, I wrap up and I welcome all of you to visit our booth. We have a lot of exciting exhibits on display, and we hope that you enjoy. Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Marc. Thank you, Andrea, and also thank you, Andie. And also thank you for listening today. And as you can see here at Automatica, ABB is enabling businesses to face the challenges of tomorrow and also to create absolutely new business models. The company is bringing together physical robotics and also the digital world to just deliver flexibility, simplicity, and also sustainability, creating resilience and the opportunity in the face of significant uncertainty. So, as I promised, we now have time for your question. If you're here live in the room, just raise your hand and introduce yourself quick. And to our online audience, just send in your questions. I would just set up my iPad, just a second. All right, so any questions here in the room, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, please. 1 second.
Frank Nolte from the Automation Magazine, ETZ in Germany. I have a question about the Wizard Easy Programming. when you teach the target points, does the software automatically optimize the movement, avoiding specific areas that the movement is optimized and very easy and quick?
At the moment, the path is not optimized, so you teach positions. So if you have an obstacle in between, you will need to teach a position around it. Yes.
In from the virtual audience. So the major trend towards sustainability and the circular economy is ongoing. What contribution can ABB make here? Maybe it goes to you, Marc.
Yeah. So to begin, our business is about productivity and efficiency for our customers, and that in itself it's probably the highest impact. We're always brought to sustainability, but now, as I said before, there are two big angles, or three actually. One is our own product. We strive to make our robots more green. For example, energy consumption. OmniCore will save 20% of energy by having regenerative braking. Second is on our customer products. As I said, enabling recycling plastic, enabling compostable packaging, enabling new, better products, of course, the EV cars, which were a big part of that. And third is, again, on their processes. Their processes where the trade-off between complexity and flexibility does not have to come at the price of more waste. So a smart flexibility, for example, avoiding unneeded movements within the interlogistics of a factory, it's a big saving, because the biggest saving is to avoid waste.
Thank you, Marc. Do we have another question here in our offline audience? Yes, please. Wait a second, the microphone is coming. Thank you, Hannah.
Thank you. So Armin Banitzke from Automationspraxis in Germany. So I have two questions. One is regarding to the omnivans cells. As a customer, do I buy it from ABB directly, or what do your systems integrators say to that, because it's maybe destroying their business? And the second question regarding to cobots, there are here at Automatica a lot of cobots going to 20 kilograms or even more payload. What is our ABB plans for example, doing palletizing? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Shall
You take something.
I take omnivans? It was just for ladies first, but actually, because there are two also, right? So you were asking about potential conflict channels, right? The reality is that we work both with direct customer and with system integrator for omnivans application cells. So of course, with end users, we work directly. We sell them and install and support them in operating the omnivan cells. But we do the same with system integrator that actually resell them to end users. Ultimately, the end customer always have the freedom to choice, right? And we try to support this choice for whatever is the maximum benefit for the customer itself. It could be, in some cases, that it's better for them, for example, for global standardized application to work directly with ABB, because we can replicate the same omnivans and guarantee the same support globally. But it can be that in some cases they prefer to have a local system integrator that can take only part of the omnivans, which is modular. And we work with system integrator in that sense. For instance, a system integrator may want to do part of the solution, but take our vision and application software. We're more than happy to support the system integrator for that part only. Always in the exclusive interest of the end users.
And you said you have another question, or was it combined?
That was, yeah, so I can take the second question. Yeah. So from ABB, we have the benefit that we have a very wide robot portfolio, right? We don't only have collaborative robots, we have also industrial robots, which cover all the payload and reach range, really. So with cobots, we have the families, and of course, we're always looking at developing new products that suit the customer's needs. But when it comes to higher payload, let's say 20, 30 kilo, we also have robots in its offering. So we would look at what is the customer actually asking for. Typically, customers are looking for improving their production, right, in one way or another. And I think that we can offer these customers a solution using our wide portfolio, both digital, software, and industrial robots.
Perfect. Thank you. Then I would suggest you go ahead with a virtual question. When it comes to machine learning and AI, what are the specific examples and solutions ABB can offer?
We have a number. I can mention a couple. We have more. If you take quality inspection, we have one of our modular cells. It's called for 3D vision quality inspection, where robots and our own proprietary cameras are inspecting, for example, welding seams, and they're applying artificial intelligence to compare a pattern towards the real welding seam. You cannot do this with traditional computational methods. It's not a one-to-one. You need to learn what is a good weld seam. And that we are applying in quality inspection, in robotized quality inspection. Another very recent example is we launched our depalletizer, our smart robotic depalletizer for warehouses, where again, robots using our own cameras and our own AI are detecting boxes in a stack. The boxes can be different size, color, and shape. They can be torn, they can be open, and still the robot, without having seen them before, will detect them, segment them, and pick them and depalletize. So quality inspection, depalletizing, fleet monitoring, the list goes on and will increase in the coming years.
Perfect, thank you, Marc. So let's go ahead here. Yes, please. Thank you.
I have two questions. First one, ABB is very successful with robots for painting applications. Will there be a Omnivance Cell 2, or is it too complicated to standardize this kind of application? And the second question is, what role does UMI play in your cobot portfolio? Is it still a relic from former times, or will there be some new applications for UMI too, or some new functions?
I can take the paint, you take the UMI. So paint is a great business which we are very proud and we continue to invest. And I alluded to the pixel paint, as you have seen. I really invite you to watch on the web the release we did about pixel paint. So this new technology, inkjet type, where we are enabling automotive OEMs to really paint their cars in new ways while saving energy and saving paint. To your question about Omnivance, really our model for paint is already, we call it from barrel to surface. So we are delivering to system integrators or ourselves a function package, which is the robot, the application equipment, and the software on top of that. We are not integrating the complete booth that we do with partners. So in a way, we're already there with this function package in paint.
No, if I can add to Marc, typically when you think about painting, you may think of automotive painting. And by the way, we have already a very strongly combined number of technologies in our robot and in the evolution, which Marc was talking about with the pixel paint. But we are working on a cell, on an Omnivance paint cell for general industry. So where we put together and standardize and pre-engineer application equipment, eventually turntable, a simplified way for programming, so we can bring this standard also to smaller and less structured, so to say, paint shop. So it's possible, we're working on it, and since we will continue to expand our catalog of Omnivance Cell, stay tuned.
All right, so we have 30 seconds. And
there was a second part
I'm
of the question.
sorry.
So, yes, I want to say that UMI continues to play an important role in our family. So this year we did not showcase it on the ABB booth because ever since we launched Golfa and Swifty, this is the first physical trade show. So of course we want to focus on the new products. But UMI still has a lot of applications in the real world. Just actually, 2 weeks ago, there was another show, IFAT, in Munich, where we had a customer that's showcasing UMI doing waste sorting using artificial intelligence. So in fact, we look at all the new cobots that's showing up on the market, but our UMI is still unique in its design, in its 7-axis, in the 2-arm configuration. So we have a lot of customers in various industries who love UMI the way it is. So it continues to play an important part in our portfolio.
Thank you very much, Andie. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here live and also virtually. It was a pleasure for me to host this media panel. And as Andie said, we are inviting you to visit us at ABB booth just over there, where you can experience much more. Thank you very much and have a successful rest of the day. Thank you.